This is You're Probably Right. Entertainment first, everything else is just bonus. Opinions, all ours. Sometimes backed by research, but never the final word. There are always exceptions, so take it with a grain of salt and a slight dusting of chili powder.
A man can survive hard work, bills, pressure, and struggle. But the wrong woman can split his mind right down the middle. Check it out. Today, I want to talk about 5 things the average man really wants from a woman. Not the fantasy man, not the celebrity man, not the millionaire, not the man with endless options. The average man, the working man, the regular man, the man who is trying to build one life with one woman he wants to and not lose himself in the process. This is episode 349 of You're Probably Right. And today, let me say it for him. These are the big 5, if he's honest. He might be scared, so I'm going to say it for him. So what this episode is about, check it out. People ask all the time, what do men really want from women? Now, I have a few episodes about this topic, and I don't believe I've gone exactly down this road before. But that's the good thing about having a podcast where I have over 350 episodes, technically. I've been able to bridge and broach topic to topic to new topic to different angles of the same topic. This is an evergreen podcast, so I try to keep it relevant as I go. Check it out. As I said, people ask all the time, what do women really want from men? And what do men want from women, right? All right, so I'm going to give you what do men really want from women here. And usually the answers are childish, simple. Sex, food, silence, obedience, peace, and quiet, right? That's what people usually say. Man cave, sex, listen to him, and don't talk during the Knicks game. Of course, food, right? But that's too shallow. That is not what I'm talking about here, because you've heard all that stuff before. I'm sure you have. I'm talking about the deeper things men feel but often do not know how to explain. A man may not always have the right words. He may sound angry. As a matter of fact, he might talk about one of these topics and an argument ensues and you never really get to the list at all. That's why I'm here. He may sound jealous, weak. He may sound insecure. He may sound old-fashioned. He may sound controlling or toxic, as they say. And sometimes, yes, a man may be those things, but not always. You see, sometimes a man is pointing at something real, but he doesn't have the language for it. He knows when something feels off. He knows when his mind is not free. He knows when home does not feel protected. He knows when another man is too close. He knows when his woman is listening to somebody else more than him. We can feel it. We can tell. May not say it. He knows when he is being used for stability, but not desired as himself or as a man. He knows when her public image makes his private commitment feel stupid. He knows when her warmth has no boundaries. He knows when he is working, providing, sacrificing, and building, but the life is building or life he is building doesn't feel safe to him. So, this episode is not theory. This is not from Jordan Peterson's books of whatever. This is not from Robert Greene. This is not from some relationship guru. This is not a textbook kind of a talk. This comes from life, from watching men, from listening to men, from being around relationships that have cracked, from being around many women, from seeing marriages tested, from seeing women confide in men who are not their husbands, from seeing men ignore what they knew in their gut until it became obvious, from being the other guy, from being the husband of the woman being lured away, from working around women in different seasons of their relationship, from watching how easy it is for attention, you listening? For attention, proximity, flirtation, emotional access, and weak boundaries to become something dangerous. This is lived experience. And I want to put words to what many average men feel. The 5 things are these. Number 1, he wants a woman he does not have to mentally guard from the world. Number 2, he wants to feel wanted for himself, not just chosen for what he provides. Number 3, he wants a woman whose public image does not make him feel like a fool for choosing her privately. Number 4, he wants a woman who knows how to be warm without being available. Number 5, he wants a woman who listens without making him fight to be heard. That is the big 5, but check it out. But before I explain them, right, I need to be clear about the man I am talking about, because I don't want you to attribute the things I'm saying to the wrong person, because then that would just be wrong. It wouldn't make any sense. Now, I'm not trying to break up happy homes, but the chances are if you have a happy home, you're probably not looking for this topic in the first place. So here we go. The man I am talking about, you listen? I'm talking about every man that is not Superman. That would be too simple, right? Listen, I'm not talking about every man. I'm not talking about the rich man. I'm not talking about the celebrity. I'm not talking about the professional athlete. I'm not talking about the man with endless options and endless money and endless abs and endless travel. No, I just threw the abs in there. Endless attention and endless replacement power. I'm not talking about the president of, say, Walmart. I'm not talking about the executive vice president of the New York Knicks. I'm not talking about the man who owns 7 restaurants. I'm not talking about the construction worker, wait, who really owns a construction company with 13 trucks and contracts to build 3,000 houses. I'm not talking about the plumber who owns a fleet. I'm not talking about the man who can afford to leave the country every 3 months with his wife, children, and family in tow. No. I'm not talking about the fantasy man, the exception. I am talking about the average man, classic man, the regular man, the working man, the man who thought he might become president or The man who played 4 or 5 sports and now works as a grown man and is still feeling the pain of that time when he turned his ankle in the basketball game. That guy. The guy who went out with his girlfriend on a weekend and got punched out and still has scars from that fight that day 20 years ago. The man with a job, bills, pressure, fatigue, responsibility, and not a lot of room for error and missed paychecks. The man who works with his hands, the man who works with his back, the man who works with his patience, the man who works with his nerves, the man who works with his time, the caretaker, the technician, the orderly, the male nurse, the construction worker, the cabinet worker, the window installer, the driver, the warehouse worker, the mechanic, the maintenance man, the security guard, the retail worker, the regular guy who has to wake up every morning and show up every morning. That's the man I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy who may not make it to his kid's soccer game, the guy who may not make it to his daughter's recital because he's tired or he's double shifting, you know? The man who cannot buy his way out of every problem or pick up the new Porsche just because it came out. The man who cannot just replace his life when something breaks. The man who cannot just fly away when his home becomes painful. The man who cannot absorb endless emotional chaos and still perform like nothing is wrong. For that man, the woman beside him matters very, 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 very deeply. Because his margin for error is a lot smaller. When his relationship is unstable, his life becomes unstable. When his woman is uncertain, his mind is not free. When he feels disrespected, ignored, embarrassed, sexually unwanted, emotionally replaced, or quietly made a fool of, it does not stay inside the relationship. It follows him everywhere he goes. It follows him to work. It follows him on break. It follows him when he tries to sleep. It follows him when he wakes up and his eyes are still closed and he's trying to brush his teeth. It follows his life into his body. It follows him into his confidence. It follows him into his ambition, his hopes, his dreams. It follows him into how he sees himself. That is the man I'm talking about. The man who wants one woman. Now, he might have cheated. He might have been cheated on. But he wants one woman, one home, one serious relationship, one family, if that is the path, one woman he can build with, repair with, nurture, love, care about, care for, one woman he can come home to, one woman he does not have to constantly worry about, monitor, compete for, or emotionally wrestle with just to keep the foundation from cracking. The man I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the womanizer. I'm not talking about the man who wants a harem. I'm not talking about the man who wants to collect memories from every woman he can get. I'm not talking about the whoring man who runs behind his friends and tries to date the guys that, he tries to date the girls that his friends have been with, or tries to date or do whatever with his friends' ex-wives. I'm not talking about the man who wants his well, who wants his woman faithful while he does whatever he wants. Not that guy. I'm not talking about the hypocrite. I'm not talking about the man who wants control without responsibility. I'm not talking about the man who wants to, well, he wants obedience, but he has no leadership. I'm not talking about the man who wants a woman locked away from the world. Not that. I'm not talking about the man who wants a woman with no opinion, no strength, no voice, no judgment, no personality. That's not this episode, guys. This episode is about the average man who genuinely wants to build something serious with one woman. And yes, I'm leaving in all of my mistakes because this is not AI. And when the kind of man says what he wants, this man, he may not always say it well. And as I said, it might turn into an argument. So he may not get through the whole list. That's why I'm here. But underneath the bad wording, there is something real. So let me say it for him. Okay. Number one, he wants a woman he does not have to mentally guard from the world. Let me explain. This is number one. And for many women, oh, well, for many men, this is the deepest one. A man does not simply want a woman who says she is loyal. That's too easy. People say a lot of things. A man wants a woman who can move through the world, be seen by other men, be approached by other men, be complimented by other men, and still not be moved by them. That woman's different. He wants to know that money will not move her, status will not move her and take her away. A better looking man will not move her. Charm will not move her. Power will not move her. Attention will not move her. Opportunity will not move her. A smoother talker will not move her. A man with a golden voice like mine will not move her. Just joking. A man with more excitement will not move her. A man with more danger will not move her. A man with a better car, better body, better job, better timing, or a better angle will not move her. A bigger will not move her. That is what a lot of men really want. Not because they want to own a woman, not because they want her hidden, not because they want nobody else to see her, but because they do not want to be in a permanent competition inside their own relationship. That is key. A man wants to be able to come home and stop competing. He already competes enough, you know? He competed as a kid in a chess club, in a hockey team, basketball club, a basketball team, baseball club, soccer team, or whatever it is. He competes at work. He competes for money. He competes for respect. He competes for opportunity. He competes against bills. He competes against time. He competes against younger men coming up behind him. He competes against older men who have already done more and have more. He competes against the economy. He competes against his own fatigue. He competes against the feeling that he is not where he thought he would be by now. So when he comes home, he does not want to still be competing for the woman who is supposed to be beside him. He does not want to feel like every man with something extra becomes a threat to his life and his marriage and his relationship. More money, more confidence, more status, more access, more mystery, more excitement, more attention, more flattery, more time. He does not want to live with the feeling that another man can walk into the right room, say the right words, give the right compliment, offer the right help, condolences, hugs, and suddenly his woman's imagination starts moving. That is exhausting. That's not peace and that's not home. That is competition with furniture in it. And men know this feeling. They might not tell you, but they know. Men know when another man is not just being nice, or men know when another man is circling. Men know when another man is waiting. Men know when another man is complimenting with intention. Men know when another man is offering help with a hook inside. Men know when another man is being patient because he is waiting for a weak moment. And men also know something people pretend not to know. Men know when other men are playing the long game as well. But he really knows that women can be pulled. Women can be flattered. Women can be tempted. Women can be bored. Women can be lonely. Women can be angry at home and more open outside of the home. You know. It doesn't mean every woman cheats. I'm not saying that. That doesn't mean every woman is disloyal. That does not mean a man has the right to police every movement she makes, and he doesn't want to, have to. But it does mean a serious man wants a woman whose heart is not still shopping, that won't touch another man's arm as she's explaining something to him while he's right there. As I said, he does not. But it does mean a serious man wants a woman whose heart is not still shopping. That's a serious line right there. He wants a woman whose eyes are not still shopping. He wants a woman whose imagination is not still shopping. He wants a woman whose emotional allegiance is not available to the highest bidder, the better car, more money. He wants a woman who he can trust in a room full of better offers. Not come home and tell him about it. I could have this guy. I could be with this guy. You know, this guy said this to me. You know, that guy tried to hit on me and try to rub it in your face. And once he feels like he has to mentally guard her, his energy splits. His focus splits and breaks. His confidence leaks. Part of his mind is no longer at work. Part of his mind is no longer on the children. Part of his mind is no longer on the future. Part of his mind is watching the door. Who's texting? Who's liking? Who's commenting? Who is around her at work? Why is the cell phone placed face down? Who is making her laugh? Who is giving her attention, or more attention, or better attention, or appropriate attention, or just the attention that she wants at this time or that time? Who is becoming her shoulder? Who is waiting for the argument at home? who is trying to become the better option. A man cannot build at full strength when part of his mind is guarding the relationship from outside men. It's just reality. So, number one is not just simply loyalty, it's too small of a word. Number one is this: he wants a woman he does not have to mentally guard from the world. Hopefully, you get it now. Because the average man does not want to keep competing once he gets home. And if he does, and if you think he should, then maybe you're just not done shopping and you should tell him. Number two, he wants to feel wanted for himself, not just chosen for what he can provide. This is number two. And this one is different from number one. Number one is about not being replaced. Number two is about not being used as a safe option. A woman can be faithful and still not make a man feel wanted. A woman can stay and still not desire him one bit. A woman can build a life with him and still make him feel like he is useful but not wanted. And that is quiet death for a lot of men. Because a man can tell the difference between being desired and being accepted. He knows. Trust me, he knows. Some women think they don't. They do. It's just he's still trying to fake it until hopefully somehow he makes it in her heart properly, in her emotions, in her desires. He may not always say it, but he knows. He knows when a woman wants him, flat out. He knows when she wants the life around him, the house, the bills paid, the big ring she can show off and tell everybody with that ring that she's been chosen without saying anything. The title, maybe the last name, the safety, the image, the children, the vacation, the stability, protection, convenience, lighten the load. The fact that he is responsible, the fact that he is predictable, the fact that he will keep showing up, the fact that he will not leave easily. And yes, those things really do matter. A man wants to provide. A man wants to protect. A man wants to be useful. He wants to be able to be counted on. But he does not want to become a utility man. Like some guys will act like, yeah, I buy her this and I buy her that, and we go here and we go there, and she can do whatever she wants as long as she comes home to me and yada, yada, yada. Might feel different when you're 67 and she's still only 51 or 47. He does not want to become a walking stability package. He doesn't want to be in a relationship where she's planning after he's gone, for after when he's gone. He does not want to become the safe man she settled beside after the man she really desired wouldn't stay with her. That's actually pain. That's a wound for him. A lot of men fear being the final destination after her passion was spent somewhere else. After that excitement was spent on someone else. After the risk was spent somewhere else. After the wilderness, the wildness was spent somewhere else. Oats were spent and sown somewhere else. too many oats were sown. Yeah. After the men she really wanted got the version of her that he never ever gets to meet. When you look at those pictures, well, that's when I had short hair there. Oh, I shaved off the half of my hair like Rihanna one time. Meanwhile, hair's now always in a bun with shortcut bangs just above her eyes or something. Then here he comes, the stable man, the good man, the provider, the serious man, the man who will pay attention, the man who will commit, the man who will take the role, the man who will take care of their kids or her kids, their kids now or their kids. You know what I mean? The man who will help clean up the life, the man who will pay for the tattoo to be removed in the middle of her lower back. The man who will be useful, but deep down he is asking, do you want me or do you only want what being with me gives you? That question can eat at a man because being chosen is not always the same as being desired. Sometimes a man is chosen because he is safe. Sometimes a man is chosen because he's useful. Sometimes a man is chosen because he's convenient. Sometimes a man is chosen because he's the rebound. Sometimes a man is chosen because he will not embarrass her. Sometimes a man is chosen because he is stable enough to build with. Sometimes a man is chosen just because he stayed. But none of that automatically means that he is actually wanted. He wants to see it in her eyes. He wants to hear it in her voice. He wants to feel it in her touch. He wants to know that when she is beside him, she is not just tolerating him because the life with him makes sense. He wants to know she still has desire for him, not desire for his wallet, not desire for his job, not desire for his status, not desire for that house, not desire for what he can do, desire for him. The man, his body, his presence, his voice, his smell, his way, the way he holds her, the way he moves, the way she sees him when nobody else is watching. A man can work hard and still want to be desired. A man can provide and still want to be wanted. A man can protect and still want to feel sexually alive to his woman. A man can be responsible and still not want to feel like the guy she matured into because the man she truly burned for wouldn't stay. That's painful. And when a man feels like he is wanted only for what he provides, not revenge, resentment starts to grow. He may not call it resentment. He may call it stress. He may call it tired. He may call it, he may say he's fine. He may become quiet. He may become distant. He may stop initiating. He may stop complimenting. He may stop dreaming with her. He may stop believing she actually sees him. Because something in him is saying, you don't want me. You want the structure I provide. And a man does not want to live as structure. He's more than a house. He's more than a lifestyle. He wants to be the man inside the structure. He wants to be the man inside of her dreams. So number 2 is this. He wants to feel wanted for himself, not just chosen for what he provides. It's not the same as loyalty. That is desire. And without desire, loyalty can start to feel like some sort of a nice, polite prison. Number 3, he wants a woman whose public image does not make him feel like a fool for choosing her privately. What does that mean? This is number 3. And this is one, well, this one is going to bother people if they are not listening carefully. This is not simply about clothing. This is not about saying a woman cannot be attractive. This is not about saying a woman cannot dress well. This is not about saying a woman cannot be beautiful in public. This is not about locking the woman away. That is not the point. The point is, there is a difference between being seen and being displayed. There is a difference between being attractive in the public and advertising yourself to the public's appetite for eternity. There is a difference between other men noticing your woman and your woman helping them notice. That's the line right there. A man can handle his woman being beautiful. Of course we can. In fact, many men want a beautiful woman. They want to be proud of her. They want to look at her and feel blessed that he's with her. They know other people may notice. That's not the issue. The issue is when her public image feels like it is being built for other men in their private times or whatever. The issue is when the pictures, the videos, the poses, the TikToks, the gram, the outfits, the angles, the captions, the clips, the online presentation seems designed to create male attention, while one man is expected to provide private commitment to that. That is where the conflict begins, really. Because now he's asking, what am I committing to, really? Am I committing to you? Or am I committing to the public record of how you made yourself available to other men's eyes or whatever? And that question is not small. 20 years ago, certain things could disappear. A reckless night could become a memory. An old picture could sit in a shoebox. A party could be forgotten by the people who were there. A bad moment could fade. Now it's different. And maybe I can't say 20 years, many years ago. Now the internet remembers. Screenshots remember. Group chats remember. Phones remember. Cloud storage remembers. Computers remembers. Devices remember. Men remember. And sometimes men keep souvenirs. Souvenirs you know about. Souvenirs you don't know about. Pictures, videos, old posts, old clips, thirst traps, sexualized images, party footages that you may not even have seen yourself, suggestive material, flirtatious content. And the man who wants one woman is expected to build a serious private future while knowing that pieces of her public sexual image may be sitting on another man's device and in another man's fantasies. People may not like that sentence, and I'm sorry if you don't, but a lot of men understand it immediately. A serious man does not want to feel like he is the one who gave commitment while other men got souvenirs and taste tests and so on. He does not want to feel like he is the man carrying the cost of seriousness while other men got to access to the fantasy and stuff that he'll never see, know, or touch or do because she didn't. Been there, done that. He does not know, he doesn't, sorry, he does not want to feel like other men saw too much, say, save too much, imagine too much. And now he is the one expected to be mature, forgiving, committed, protective, and proud. That does not mean every woman with social media is wrong. It doesn't mean every photo is disrespectful, but many are. It doesn't mean beauty is shameful, but it does mean public presentation has private consequences. And the reality is, when you've decided to give yourself away in many, many different ways, stuff's going to be kept behind, stuff that you might not even like. A woman can't say, it's just my body, and as if her public image has no effect on the man being asked to attach his name, his home, his family, his reputation to her future. It may be her body, but if she wants a serious private commitment, the way she presents herself publicly becomes part of their relationship, and it can come up at any time. That's reality. Because men are not asking, is she faithful? They are also asking, does she carry herself like our future deserves protection? Does she understand that what she displays publicly enters their private life? Does she understand that I do not want to feel foolish for choosing her seriously? The average man does not want to be laughed at quietly, snickered at, and wonder why somebody's looking at him a funny way in a mall. He does not want to feel like the husband or boyfriend of a woman everybody has seen too much of. He does not want to be the serious man attached to a public image that makes him feel exposed and dumb. And he does not want to be told he is insecure because he notices the obvious. So number 3 is, he wants a woman whose public image does not make him feel like a fool for choosing her privately. Or, said in another way, he wants a woman who carries herself in public like she knows someone serious is coming home to her. That is not about hiding. It's about dignity. That is about understanding that when two people are building a life, public behavior has private consequences. Number 4, he wants a woman who knows how to be warm without being available. This is number 4. And this is one that I think most can probably understand, but as I said, if it's said the wrong way, it causes problems. Check it out. Because this one happens quietly. This is a subtle thing that happens in society and workplaces and places that people frequent every day. You see, it's not about, how do I say this? It's not about attacking nurses. It's not about attacking teachers and people who work in institutions. This is not about attacking retail workers, office workers, servers, social workers, receptionists, hairstylists, flight attendants, or women in high contact jobs, if you get what I'm saying. The job is not the problem. The problem is emotional exposure, repeated proximity, weak boundaries, and male attention. Now, many who are probably listening right now exactly understand it, but people don't like you to say it. And unfortunately, that's not the podcast that I do here. I try to say it. You see, the combination I just said and all of that, maybe I should repeat it because I'm going on. Listen, the problem is not that, the problem is emotional exposure, repeated proximity, weak boundaries, and male attention. A lot of men love women who are warm, nurturing women, kind women, soft women, playful women, helpful women, women who can care, women who listen, women who can be emotionally present. That is part of what makes these women attractive. And the jobs that I just explained to you are full of these types of women. But the same thing that makes her very attractive to her man can make her attractive, very attractive to other men. And at the same warmth that makes her a good partner can become dangerous when it is available to every man who gets close enough to her. That's the paradox, really. A man may love that his woman is kind, but he does not want her kindness to become availability. He may love that she is friendly. I'm sure that's what he liked about her in the first place. But he does not want her friendliness to become flirtation, thin line. He may love that she's nurturing, but he doesn't want her nurturing energy to turn every struggling male coworker into a project. He may love that she listens, but he does not want male coworkers receiving boyfriend level access to her, in her life. And that's the issue right there. A man does not want other men at work becoming the people who hear her complaints about him, her disappointments, her home problems, her private frustrations, her loneliness, her dreams, her emotional wounds, or the things she's not fully told him. Many guys listening to this know what it's like. Women will bend your ear. Sometimes women will ask you about gifts for her husband. Instead of her trying to figure it out on her own, she'll go to other guys. That opens a window that people don't really see. People don't get. Because betrayal does not always begin in a hotel room. Sometimes it begins with repeated access. It begins in quiet corners and quiet offices. It begins with little touches on the bicep or on the tricep, on the shoulder. It begins with a hand on the arm, It begins with a side joke. Then it starts and continues with an inside joke. It begins with private complaints. Yeah. It begins with lunch conversations. You know that many deals and many people are bonded over meals. And there's many women, many men who don't even share a quiet meal without a phone in their face at home with their husband or with their wife, but they do this almost every day with coworkers. It begins with, he just understands me. It begins with a shoulder shrug during a bad week, maybe even a hug. It begins with a male coworker who is always available when things at home are not perfect. It begins with a man quietly waiting for the relationship to crack. And sometimes he doesn't wait for it to crack. He makes it crack. Sometimes he makes that crack wider. Men know this. Men know that many male friends around attractive women are not neutral. Some are patiently waiting, like 50 Cent said. Some are strategic. Some are opportunistic. Some are waiting. Some are pretending to care. Some are presenting themselves as harmless because they know that that's how you get closer. And when a husband or boyfriend sees it, he often is told that he is insecure. It'd be like, well, John at work told me such and such. He's just my friend. He's just my coworker. He's just being nice. He's like a brother. You're overreacting. You don't trust me. These are the comebacks, and guys know exactly where these things go. Because think about it. You got a guy who spends from 7 to maybe 9, 10 hours a day with your wife. There's no sexual pressure. Or should I say, there's no performance pressure. There's no performance anxiety. It's just somebody I know. Somebody who has probably some of the same characteristics and likes about them. I mean, you're in the same profession. You're in the same building all the time. You might look at the world the same way. You might have the same political views. But there's no pressure for anybody to perform in that way with each other. So you're able to develop a long bond. Think about it. Most guys, they meet a girl that they like, they talk to a girl that they like, or she talks to him or whatever. And right off the bat, it's like, okay, well, I saw you. You're attractive. I want to get to know you because you're attractive from the guy's standpoint. And you're usually trying to rush towards that area of life that is intimate, right? Whereas you have the guy at work now who has to respect her intelligence, is exposed to her warmth, her friendliness, her cooperation. You talk, you eat together, you do all kinds of sorts of things. Now, if there's also some sort of attraction between each other, it is so easy. You understand? I know that women, if you're listening, try to, as I said, say those are the buzzwords that people say, right? He's just my friend. He's just my coworker. What does that mean? He's still a guy just because he works there. So what? I know people say they don't something the bed and yada, yada, yada. You got emotions. You have your ups and downs at home. Sometimes you need to explain and talk that out with somebody. He was just being nice. He's like a brother. You're overreacting. He's like a brother, but he's not related to you. We trust you, but we don't trust them. And don't get me wrong, women do it too to guys, right? But there is a difference. I'm not going to get into the difference of what can happen and people get pregnant. Not all of us, but you get what I mean, right? Some of us can spread the love a lot farther than others can. But that's a different conversation. So let's get back to it. Check it out. Sometimes the guy is overreacting with what's going on at her workplace. And there are many women who would never, who have never, but there are a lot of women who would and who could if the season and proximity and situation and emotions are just right. Sometimes he is reading the situation exactly right from home because men understand male hunger because they're male and they have male hunger. They understand when a man is orbiting, playing the long game. They understand when another man is slowly becoming emotionally important to their coworkers. They understand when friendliness has crossed into availability. That is the distinction, really. There is a difference between being friendly and being available. Friendly is professional. Friendly is kind. Friendly is decent. Friendly is normal. Friendly can smile, speak, help, laugh, and still keep boundaries. Available is different. Available gives openings, says things. Maybe he makes comments about how she's dressed, and her husband hasn't made comments about how she dresses in 2 years. And he does it every time she finds a new outfit or every time she gets her hair done. He notices that it's cut a certain way or the hair stays behind the ear just that way, or he notices the earrings. The guy at home is buying them or sometimes helping to buy them, but he doesn't necessarily say anything about them. He just wants you to take it off, whatever it is. Available shares too much. Available complains about the relationship. Available accepts flirtation disguised as concern. Available lets another man become private comfort. Available touches, teases, confides, and invites closeness. Available says nothing happened while creating the conditions for something to happen. And that is what the man at home fears. The fear is not simply that she works around men. The deeper fear is this: other men are getting daily access to the soft, open, playful, emotionally available version of her before I do. Just think about it. We're both gone to work. Maybe we both leave. Maybe you drop her off at work, or maybe she drops him off at work. And they both go in opposite directions for 8 to 9 hours. It cuts deep when you really think about it. Because sometimes the world gets her best energy, most of her energy. How many times has a woman come home and said she's too tired, her head hurts? And a lot of the time it's true. The world sucks the life out of her. And when you get home, she has no life for you. And it's not like one time in the week it happens several times in the week. And then in the weekend, if you work a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, she's trying to recharge and she wants you to do some stuff because she doesn't have the energy. And maybe her period is there. Right. You see, at work, she's smiling because she has to. She's reverent to her boss. If her boss says, "Can you pick up 7 of those on your way in? And can you do that?" And blah, 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 right? She's like, "Okay, yes, I will." Let her husband try that at home, right? At work, she's dressed up, right? She's at her best. At work, she's patient. At work, she's playful. At work, she's emotionally present. At work, she is touched, noticed, helped, complimented, rescued, and listened to. And she doesn't have to feel or think that there's anything on the outside of that or at the end of that, right? When she gets the hand on the shoulder, you're funny. You're actually pretty funny for a girl. I noticed that you had that dress yesterday. I didn't really want to say anything, but yeah, it's cut pretty nicely. Oh, I can help you with that. I can get the door for you. You get it? Then at home, she's tired. At home, she's irritated. At home, she's unavailable. At home, she's short. At home, she's covered up. At home, she's emotionally dry. And the man starts asking, why does the world get the woman I fell in love with while I get the woman who is drained? That question can destroy closeness because now he doesn't feel jealous. He feels robbed. He feels a little bit ticked. He doesn't want to hear about what, Davis said at lunch and how he made her laugh and pop came spraying out her nose or something. He feels like other men get warmth and he gets responsibility. Other men get smiles and he gets bills. Other men get the playful conversations and he gets exhaustion. Other men get softness and he gets leftovers or nothing. It's not sustainable. So number 4 is this. He wants a woman who knows how to be warm without being available. Or more directly, he wants a woman who does not give boyfriend level emotional access to the men at her job. Or even deeper, he wants a woman whose softness has boundaries around it, because warmth without boundaries becomes an open door. And a serious relationship cannot survive if the door is always open. Number 5. He wants a woman who listens without making him fight to be heard. That's number 5. And this one, I would say, is mostly misunderstood. Because as soon as you say a man wants a woman who listens, some people hear he wants obedience. No, that's not what this is exactly. He does not want a woman with no mind. He does not want a woman with no opinion. He doesn't want a woman with no intelligence. He doesn't want a woman who never challenges him. He doesn't want a woman who just nods every time he says, I won't even say. Most men know they're not always right. That's right. Even when they want to be right, they know they're not always right. A strong woman can help a man. A wise woman can sharpen a man. A loving woman can correct a man. A woman who believes in him can push him towards something better, to reach the stars, to reach the moon. That's not the problem here. The problem is when a man has to fight to be heard inside of his own relationship. The problem is when his concerns are dismissed until somebody else says the same thing. John at work says I should cut my hair. It's like, I said that to you like 3 weeks ago. No, you didn't. The problem is when his warning is treated as insecurity. You know, Chris at work says the blonde streaks that I put in my hair look amazing and make me look younger. He has no answer for that. He might not have said anything. The problem is when his warnings are treated as insecurity. The problem is when his instinct is treated as control. He doesn't come out with it right. He doesn't say it at the right time. The problem is when his no is treated like a delay instead of an answer. The problem is when another man's voice carries more weight than his. That is one of the deepest insults to a man. When he has a role, he has a function in a relationship or a family, and somehow it is what's the best, supplanted or taken over, and some just with a comment. Meanwhile, you're there every day. When his woman ignores him, dismisses him, pushes past him, or treats him like background noise, but then listened to by other men, because that man has charm, authority, maybe, money, confidence, education, religious presence, I don't know, business language, social power. Maybe all the other women at the office like him. He's just a nice guy. Maybe he buys her coffee every Tuesday and never forgets. Maybe he gave her a little something for her birthday, just a small little thing. It's nothing. I'm sure your husband will buy you something better. Husband buys nothing. You get what I mean. That other man could be anybody. Could be a businessman, a preacher, a mentor, a guru, a boss, a male friend, a real estate agent, a financial advisor, a coach, a man selling her a dream, a man who understands how to use his maleness, authority, charisma to influence her, maybe influence her career. The issue is not that she can never receive outside advice. No, of course she can. The issue is when she gives another man authority over her thinking while treating her own man like he's an obstacle, like he's a dum-dum. Oh, he doesn't know, my hubby. That's gonna be a wound. A man says, this business deal does not feel right. She says, you're being too negative. Another man says, this is an opportunity. Now she hears the vision. A man says, I don't trust that guy. She says, you're jealous. The guy keeps getting closer. A man says, that preacher, coach, mentor, or guru feels manipulative. He seems like he's playing the long game. She says, that preacher, coach, mentor, guru feels fine to me. She says, you just don't understand. Not every guy is like that. Maybe you're like that with the females at your job. Right? What's he going to do right there? He's going to tighten up. Then later the truth comes out. A man says, this house is too much. She says, you never want to grow. You knew who I was before before we got married. You knew I didn't want to be like this. I want to be like that. A man says, we shouldn't make this decision right now. She says, you're holding me back. Then when the consequences come, he is expected to clean it up, to fix it, to find another job, to make it work. And that's what breaks him. Not just the bad decision, the fact that he was made invisible before the decision, the fact that his voice did not matter until the damage was done. A man wants to be heard before the disaster, not apologized to after, and most of the time, not apologized at all. That matters. He wants a woman who listens to his judgment. He wants a woman who takes his concerns seriously. I mean, what if she has the better credit? What if she has the job that pays more money? How much say does he have then? Maybe he made mistakes in the past, and we all know a lot of the time those mistakes, you pay for them for the rest of your life. They're not just left off the hook and, oh, I forgive you, and they're never brought up again. No. As soon as there's a tight squeeze again, that stuff is brought right back up into the forefront. How much agency does he have because you are smarter, make more money, or had a better education, or come from a better family? He wants a woman who can disagree without dismissing and dismantling his intelligence, his manness. He doesn't want to be emasculated. He wants a woman who can challenge him without humiliating him. He wants a woman who can push him without shaming him, because there is another side to this. A man doesn't want a woman who lets him waste his life. Trust me. He doesn't want a woman who watches him become lazy, bitter, weak, unhealthy, irresponsible, and says nothing. A good woman can push a man forward, far beyond what he could have done by himself. But there is a way to push a man that builds him, and there is a way to push a man that breaks respect inside the relationship. He doesn't want to be disrespected to become better. He doesn't want to be shamed into success. He doesn't want to be mocked into ambition. You said you're going to go back to school. I mean, you didn't even graduate. He doesn't want to be compared into growth. He doesn't want to be insulted into discipline. Nobody does. Because even if the outcome looks good on the outside, the relationship rots underneath. Maybe he makes more money. Maybe he goes back to school. Maybe he gets in shape. Maybe he improves. Maybe he becomes more responsible. But if the method was contempt, something in him remembers that. He remembers that she didn't believe in him with love. She attacked him with disgust. That's different. A man wants to be helped upwards, not shamed upwards. He wants a woman who can say, I see more in you, though. I believe in you. I'm not going to let you waste yourself. I am with you, but I will not disrespect you to get you there. That is partnership. That is love. So number 5 is, he wants a woman who listens without making him fight to be heard. Or more complete, he wants a woman who listens to his judgment, respects his concern, and pushes him forward without disrespecting him. He wants a woman who hears him before the damage is done and helps him grow without making him feel small and insignificant, even if he is small. So bringing the 5 together. So wrap this up, guys. So yes, bringing the 5 together. Number 1, he wants a woman he does not have to mentally guard from the world. That means he doesn't want to keep competing inside of his own relationship. Number two, he wants to feel wanted for himself and not just what he can provide. That means he doesn't want to be, the safe utility man after her real desires have gone elsewhere. Number three, he wants a woman whose public image doesn't make him feel like a fool for chasing her privately. You know what that means. And number four, he wants a woman who knows how to be warm without being available. Maybe you don't know what the other one means. Let me go back. Obviously, I think I explained it, but that means he doesn't want private commitment attached to public sexual display. He doesn't want 50 pictures of her on Facebook with her cleavage out and her everything printed out just for everybody to see. And lastly, well, not lastly, as I said, he wants a woman who knows how to be warm without being available. That means he doesn't want other men receiving boyfriend level or husband level emotional access. And remember, that stuff happens so subtly over years. Think about you working with someone for 14 years. Think of the little comments, the little hugs, somebody passes, husband upsets you. Just think about all the little closeness and just attach to that some sort of a chemistry. And things can go boom very easily. He wants a woman who listens without making him fight to be heard. And that means he doesn't want another man's voice to matter more than his own in his own relationship. These are not the same thing. They are connected but different. Number one is about replacement. Number two is about desire. Number three is about public image. Number four is about emotional access. Number five is about being heard and respected in decision making, making life in the relationship. Sorry. Together they create the deeper point. The average man wants a woman whose desire, whose image, warmth, decisions, and emotional softness are not being distributed, redirected, or governed by the outside world, while he is expected to carry the private cost of commitment. That's basically the core. Let me say it again. The average man wants a woman whose desires, image, warmth, decisions, and emotional softness are not being distributed, redirected, or governed by the outside world, while he is expected to carry all of the more important things in the private relationship of commitment. And that's the whole episode right there. Because a man is not only worried about cheating is often the end of the process. It already happened. It already started long before. With a look, with a touch, with a hug, with a compliment. A lot of men are worried about the conditions that make betrayal easy. Proximity is certainly one of those things. They are worried about the eyes that keep shopping. They are worried about the desire that is not really for them. They are worried about the public image that invites other men in fantasy. They are worried about the warmth that becomes availability. They are worried about the outside male voices that start leading their women before they can. They are worried about becoming the man who pays the cost while other men get access to those little parts. And that's the uncomfortable truth. And people can call it whatever they want. It's still it, and it's still true, and it still exists. They can call it insecurity, they can call it control, they can call it outdated or fragile. But a lot of the time, what men are asking for is not complicated. They are asking, they are saying, don't make me compete inside my own home. Don't make me feel like I was chosen because I'm useful. Don't make me your public, don't make your public image embarrass my private commitment. Don't give other men emotional access that belongs inside this relationship. Don't ignore my voice and then expect me to rescue the situation after damage happens. It's not hatred, it's not oppression, it's not fear of women. That is a man trying to protect the life he's being asked to help build. The part women may not want to hear. Here's the part some women may not want to hear, really. A man's protectivity, or not protectivity, protectivity, man's productivity, is connected to his peace. A man's focus is connected to his peace. A man's confidence is connected to his peace. That nervous system, boy. A man's willingness to build is connected to his peace. And for the average man, peace at home is not luxury, it's fuel, it's a necessity to keep things moving. When a man knows his woman is solid, his mind opens. He can work, he can build, he can be comfortable, he can plan, he can save, he can think, he can take risks, he can be patient, he can sacrifice, he can delay pleasure, he can carry pressure. He can endure disrespect from the world because he knows there is a place where he's not going to be made a fool. But when that certainty is gone, everything gets heavier. He may still go to work. He may still pay the bills. He may still take out the garbage. He may still fix the car. He may still show up at the birthday party. He may still sit at the dinner table. But a part of him is gone. A part of him is guarding. A part of him is calculating. A part of him is suspicious. A part of him is ashamed. A part of him is comparing himself to other men. A part of him is wondering what she really wants. A part of him is wondering who else has access to her mind. A part of him is wondering whether the life he is building is safe. And when a man feels that he does not operate, well, when a man feels like he's not operating at full strength, it's a problem. The average man does not have unlimited energy. He does not have unlimited emotional bandwidth. He does not have unlimited recovery. He can't spend 8, 10, 12 hours working and then come home and emotionally fight for the foundation of his relationship every day, 3 times a week. At some point, he will shut down. At some point, he's going to withdraw. At some point, he's going to stop he's going to stop explaining. At some point, he's going to stop asking. At some point, he's going to stop dreaming and planning for the future. At some point, he'll stop seeing her at home. And once a man stops seeing a woman as home, the relationship may still exist, but something sacred has been lost. Now, the part men need to hear. These 5 things are not excuses to become paranoid, lazy, control, hypocritical, or cruel. You can't demand loyalty while living like a liar. You can't demand desire while refusing to become desirable. can't complain about her public image while publicly disrespecting the relationship yourself. You can't demand boundaries while keeping women around as backups. You can't demand that she listens while you never lead with wisdom, discipline, honesty, or care. A man has to be serious about what he's asking for. If a man wants to be heard, he needs to become worth listening to. If a man wants to be desired, he shouldn't abandon himself. If a man wants a woman who is not available to every man, he should not be available to every other woman. If a man wants a woman whose public image protects the relationship, he should not publicly embarrass the relationship either. If a man wants if a man wants peace, he can't bring chaos and call it leadership. It's not a one-way type of sermon, right? But it is still true. The average man has certain needs that are often mocked, minimized, or mislabeled. And I'm not going to pretend those needs are fake just because some men express them badly. A man can express a real concern badly, that's for sure. That doesn't make the concern unreal. A man can be clumsy with his words and still be pointing out something that is very true. A man can sound jealous and still be seeing boundary problems. A man can sound old-fashioned and still be asking for something that is necessary and his right. That is where maturity comes in. The difference between control and protection. The whole conversation really gets attacked here. Someone will say, this is just control. So let's separate the two. Control says you can't leave the house. You cannot dress well. You can't speak out or speak to anyone. You can't have a life. You can't disagree. You can't challenge me. You can't be seen. You can't have beautiful. You can't look, beautiful in public. You can't have thoughts of your own. That's control. That is not what we're talking about. That's not what we've been talking about. If you think that's what it is, maybe you need to listen again. Protection says, please don't create openings that damage trust. Don't make private commitment look foolish in public. Don't confuse kindness with availability. Don't give emotional intimacy to men who are waiting for weakness. Don't let another man lead you, lead your thinking while dismissing the man building with you. Don't treat your relationship like it can survive anything while you keep exposing it to everything. A serious relationship needs boundaries. Not because love is weak, because love is valuable. You protect what is valuable, right? You don't leave valuable things open to everything and everybody's appetite. Every influence, every temptation, every charming stranger, every coworker, every follower, every guru, every man with a plan, every man with money, every man with time, every man who has attention for you. And yes, it goes both ways. Goes both ways. Sorry. A man should protect the relationship too. But this episode is about the average man and what the average man wants from a woman when he's trying to build a serious life. And what he wants is not impossible. He wants to stop competing at home. He wants real desire. He wants public dignity. He wants boundaries. He wants bounded warmth. He wants to be heard. That's it. All right, guys. Those are the big five. So when people ask, what do men want? Don't just give them the childish answer. The childish answers are, men just want sex, food, silence, obedience. Don't just say, a woman who does whatever he wants, go fix me a sandwich. It's nonsense and it's shallow. Some of it is true in some ways, but the things are so much more deeper than that. Guys aren't as shallow as people say a lot of the time. The average man wants a serious life, wants something much deeper than those little things. You should remember, he wants a woman not to have, openness for everything, you know? And he certainly wants a woman who has openness for him and simple, if you want to keep anything simple. Anyway, that's the list. Some people won't like it, I know. That's fine. But a lot of men will hear it and know exactly what I'm talking about, and hopefully he can use the words and explain it if he's with it. Because they've lived it. They have felt it. They've been probably on the other side of it. They have lost sleep over it. They have gone to work with it on their mind. They have sat in the car before going inside the house because they're wondering what kind of an argument they're going to be pulled into, or how long they're going to be told about her day. And hopefully he has the patience to listen, because in the days that he doesn't have the patience to listen, that's when other things are being started up, because we can always find somebody else to listen to us, right? They have watched other men slowly get close. They have watched their women dismiss their concerns and then later find out they were right. They have felt like a provider, but not a lover. They have felt like a husband, but not a desire. They have felt like a builder of a life that someone else could damage with a little attention, a little boredom, a little weakness, a little outside influence. And maybe they didn't have the words. Well, now they do. The average man is not asking for perfection. He is asking for protection around what he's trying to build with you. He's not asking to be made of a fool of just because he's loving you seriously. He's giving focus. He's giving trust. He's giving his name in many cases. He's giving his future. He's giving a version of himself that he cannot be, just handing it over without a cost. If a woman wants that from him, then she has to understand something. The life they are building has to be protected from the world outside, period. Not hidden from the world, though. Protected from it. And that's different. Anyway, y'all, this has been episode 349 of You're Probably Right podcast. Take care of yourself. See you next time. Hey, come check out You're Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 docs. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully, anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, well, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.